fed the Raptors their lunch. Paul Pierce, here's him aside talking about that guy who the Raptors needed. Maybe Paul Pierce himself.
He's a killer. He's one of those guys that you want on your team. I believe in those old school guys. Yeah. Those guys they're phenomenal. They want to cut your head off. They want to cut your head off.
Yeah, they do. And I like the fact that he recognizes it as something that they need. Because everybody, you can move towards youth. You can build around youth. But you need a guy like that if you're going to make a championship run. Remember when Hakeem Olajuwon came here? How effective he was?
He wasn't the dream. He was the nightmare.
Yeah. Anyway,
to cut your head off.
Yeah. Well, go get one of those guys. And rumors that I read this yesterday, and I'm trying to. I don't want to. This is just a rumor that I've read, and I can't credit the source, so I can't say it. That Paul Pierce is on the Toronto Raptors radar. I believe he's on a 1-year deal in Washington. Wouldn't that be great if he eventually found his way here? I love that guy.
They're phenomenal. They want to cut your head off.
Moving on to Game 7 tonight in the NHL. No Nicholas Kronwall for Game 7. Devastating news for the Detroit Red Wings as they're in Tampa Bay trying to finish off the Lightning without their best defenseman who was suspended for that hit on Kucherov. Stefan Quintel said no, Sports and hockey analyst Jeff Merrick on the show yesterday totally called it.
This is a tough one, but my definition of way bad that little hit is, I think this one is the criteria. It's a charge. He's off the tee. Primary point of contact is the head. Suspension.
Yep. There you go. Thanks, Jeffy. I love having that guy on, by the way. Nailed that. Have him on every day. And what does that suspension mean, though? Because it's a Game 7. What would that be in regular season terms? Because obviously it's a playoff game. It means more than a regular season.
That's why they did it.
That's why it was like 2 games. And it wasn't penalized the Detroit Red Wings. It's two things. A, you suspended for a suspendable hit. It was dangerous and it was irresponsible. And it met all the criteria. B, what Stefan Quintel did was tell everybody that's still in the playoffs is we'll have none of that. You go play hockey. And I like it. But what it's ballsy. A Game 7, their best defenseman. How many games would that be in the regular season? 5. This feels like a lot more than a 1-game suspension. Well, we'll find out tonight. Find out how devastating it is tonight. The game is at 7 p.m. and I believe you can watch it on CBC and Rogers Game 7:30. There you go. Joining us on the phone for the story out west in the Stanley Cup playoffs, our friend and yours, Mr. Eric Francis, playoff insider, brought to you by Certified Pre-Owned Audi. They're not just ready, they're Audi ready. Hey man, how are you?
I'm good. You know, it's funny you guys talk about sending a message. Fan can't tell one to send a message with that hit, and the hit's a bad one, and it deserves a suspension. But you know, the Calgary Flames series and Vancouver, there was all that garbage going on, that message sending and all that stuff, and I love it, don't get me wrong. But, you know, the NHL doesn't like that stuff in there where there's guys fighting in the final 3 or 4 minutes, and they failed to send a message. In fact, they went out of their way to rescind 2 match penalties that were assessed in that series for instigating in the final 5 minutes, which is an automatic 1-game suspension. If you're going to continually rescind those, what sort of message are you sending to the rest of the league? So I don't buy that they're on top of all this stuff. I think they've made some mistakes along the way here.
No, I do too. I think England is, as much as I want Calgary to win, and they're my adopted team in the Stanley Cup playoffs because I'm an Alberta guy. England should have been suspended by the letter of the law. Should he have not?
Well, I'm going to suggest that more so Alex Burrows should have been.
Of course you are.
and not like a homer, but if you look at that video, he was having a one-on-one fight with a guy. He didn't drop the gloves first. Literally, the opponent dropped the gloves first, and then Dan Hamhuis jumps in, and it's 2-on-1. So I can't see how a guy who got jumped, you know, there was a third man in. Hamhuis got nothing for that, by the way. Anyway, it's not like a homer. I'm not
totally. You couldn't sound more like a homer, Eric. And you know what? Take this for solace. God pays debts without money. You're in the second round. Vancouver is not. Alex Burrows left practice with it looks like someone shot him from the second level. So, and he was a non-factor because he was in the hospital. So, you know, like I say, God pays debts without money. You guys can stop being homers.
It's funny because in Calgary I'm considered way too harsh on the Flames, so I don't know what it is.
Wow, I would love it to Habs and Flames played in the Stanley Cup final. We'd have battles. Eric, just quickly back to that. What would that Game 7 suspension be in a regular season? How many games does Cronwall get if this is the regular season?
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I could have been, 4 or 5 games. I don't know. I mean, it's so hard to peg what player safety is up to and how they go about what they do. But yeah, that's exactly the kind of hit you don't want. A guy's got his head down and the guy targets his head. I mean, that is exactly what we've been talking about for the last 3 or 4 years, and it's kind of the scourge of hockey and pro sports in general, if you want to put it that way. So yeah, that would have been a lot worse. But they always do take the situation into account, and I guess I don't have a problem with that.
Yesterday I read something, apparently the Red Mile is on fire, by the way. You guys, if anybody knows how to party, there ain't no party like a Flames party. There was a note that came out yesterday. Police are telling people partying at the Red Mile to keep their pants on.
Yeah, it's sage advice, I think. I think generally when you're partying, unless you're in university, then I think it's different. But anyway, when you're in a general public, on one of our main streets in this city, I think that's a good rule of thumb. I mean, do you guys disagree with that as a general rule in life?
Well, it depends on whose pants are off.
Right, Eric.
It's entirely dependent on who's wearing those pants.
Well,
like if it's your pants, I say keep them on.
Yeah, I don't want to get a dude's pants off, but you know what? That party, the thing about the Red Mile that's really has made it famous is the fact that it is a very peaceful, harmonious celebration. Yeah, there were 6 arrests the other night, but there were 15,000 people on the Red Mile. When we had 100,000 people on the Red Mile in 2004, there were very few arrests there too. So the thing that people in this city are most proud of is the fact that it's a very peaceful gathering. I don't know if you remember in Vancouver, but they didn't have such a peaceful gathering.
Eric, you beat them out. Stop it. They're out of the playoffs. Just let it go. You won.
Apples to apples, and things went a little sideways in Vancouver. Yeah. So anyway, that's what we're proud of. But hey, the odd guy or girl, I'm not sure who dropped their...
I got it right here. I got it. The police, it's on 17th Avenue. I used to live really close to 17th Avenue by the Good Earth Cafe. That was the place that served muffins that tasted like sawdust. Anyway, so the Calgary Police Staff Sergeant Steve Ellefson said people need to wear pants and not set off fireworks by the gas station. And then he said, here's the deal. He broke it down. Saturday night by the Red Mile, 6 arrests, 2 in relation to media harassment. Was it you?
I honestly can tell you, I have witnesses from Hockey Night who can tell you I wasn't there.
Okay.
I had my drawers on and everything.
Good.
I was so well behaved.
How about this? 1 in a relation to a man being naked from the waist down. 1 in relation to setting off fireworks in a gas station. And this is one of my favorites. 1 in relation to being, quote, too drunk.
That's saying something. This is Stampede City.
Yeah, it's the West.
So when you're that drunk that you get arrested for being too drunk, you've clearly crossed lines that in most provinces wouldn't get you arrested. Anyway, it's been pretty... it's all-encompassing in this city.
Yeah.
The Flames doing this, because it is such a out-of-the-blue story, right? I mean, no one expected this. Over the last 3 months, that's all anybody talks about in this city, because it's just so out of the blue. I tried to compare it to someone in Toronto last night. I was talking to them. I said, simply put it, I'm not trying to be a jerk. Like, if the Leafs made the playoffs out of the blue next year, because no one's expecting that next year. Everyone's expecting a lengthy rebuild in Toronto. If all of a sudden they made the playoffs and then made a little noise in the playoffs, you can just imagine what that town would be like. There would be pants off in every street corner.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we would all wake up from the dream. But nonetheless, I mean, it's a story you guys are living now. Do you stand a chance against the Calgary Flames? In all honesty, and I know you've written off the Flames with Giordano, and getting there has been gravy, and what's happening now is more gravy. But do you realistically, is there a chance for the Calgary Flames to beat the Anaheim Ducks?
Not really. I mean, I'm not prepared to sit here and say they absolutely can't do it because we've been doing that all year long and they proved everybody wrong. I did think they would beat Vancouver, as a matter of fact, because they had so much momentum going into the playoffs. But I just think the difference is going to be when teams think they have a legitimate shot at making the Stanley Cup final, they load up on defensemen. I mean, the war of attrition is such in the National Hockey League playoffs that you need 8, 9, 10 defensemen to get through that entire 4-series tournament. The Anaheim Mighty Ducks at the deadline went and loaded up, grabbed extra players that you can't, like, you know, great, good, solid players. Calgary Flames are playing with 4 defensemen right now because the 5th and 6th defensemen are playing 3-4 minutes a game. That's not sustainable. So that ultimately will be the difference because someone's going to get hurt. Then they'll try to play with 3 defensemen, and that's impossible. So Calgary Flames, no, I do not think they have much of a chance against Anaheim.
Yeah, Anaheim has 6 defensemen that can play top 4 minutes, and you know what? And as great of a story as Calgary is, and I want Calgary to win in the worst way, maybe not as much as you being the homer you are, but.
Okay, relax. Keep your pants on.
Hey, listen, Eric.
Seriously.
Yeah, okay, I will. I promise. Listen, Eric, all the best to you in Calgary. Really appreciate you doing this. Enjoy, and you're my adopted team, so I'm behind you.
All right, well, thanks. Enjoy the ride. It's a fun one for the Calgarians.
Okay, man. Talk to you soon.